Hi, welcome to the first Keys and Worship e-course. I'm Sarah with keysandworship.com, and I'm so glad that you have joined me, and I'm so excited to go through this material with you. I have our first lesson printed off here. Follow along with me on your tablet or print off the lesson, and we will work through this material together. Just so you know, I won't be able to play the song that we're going to learn in this lesson on this video because of copyright issues. But we are going to talk about the chords and how to work through those chords, and then you get to put the song together on your own, and you can give me feedback about how that goes for you. So let's get started. Let's talk about first the Western major scale, and that is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do that you're so used to hearing in movies like The Sound of Music and that kind of thing. A lot of people know that, but they don't even know what it is that they're singing. In Western music, our ear has become accustomed to a particular series of whole steps and half steps, and this is what we've come to refer to as a key. Any half step is from one key to the very next key, whether it's black or white, and a whole step has one of those keys in the middle. So you might go from a white key and have a black key in the middle to another white key. That's a whole step. So the major scale pattern, if you're talking about it by steps, is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So if you start on any note on the piano and you follow that pattern of whole steps and half steps, you're going to get a major scale. And those notes in that major scale are said to be in the key of whatever note we started on. So we're going to go to the piano now, and I'm going to demonstrate for you what I'm talking about, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so now let's talk about the major scale on the piano here. If we start on C and we play all of the notes from C to C, this is our C scale. So you can see that on the staff there on your lesson. But what we're doing is we're following that pattern of whole steps and half steps that I talked about. So we start on C, we go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. And that gives us all of the white notes on the piano because of where the pattern falls on the piano. So all of the notes that we've just played here, all of those white notes are said to be in the key of C. And if we're playing a song in the key of C, those are the notes that we'll use. Now if we start on a different note on the piano and we follow that same pattern, let's say we start on G, and we go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. See, then we end up with one black note. This is the F sharp, and that's just following that same pattern and giving us the same pattern of whole steps and half steps. We end up with an F sharp in a key of G. So these are the notes that we use when we're playing in the key of G. We have to use that F sharp instead of the F. Okay, so next we're going to talk about triads or chords. Those names are used kind of interchangeably, and a triad or chord is formed when you play 3 or more notes together. So use your 1, 3, and 5 fingers, and if you play C, E, G together, this is your C major chord. So now we're going to play chords using each of the notes of the C scale as the bottom note. So we have, here's a C chord, here's a D chord, here's an E chord, and I'm naming them with the note that's at the bottom of the chord. F chord, G chord, A chord, B chord, and all the way up. You can make triads out of all of those notes. So we're going to work more with this idea later on. The bottom note of the chord is referred to as the root, and the root is what names the chord. So in the song, the first song in your songbook, we're going to work with C chord, F chord, and G chord. So just play them just like that right now. The C chord, and the F chord, and the G chord. So C has C, E, G, and F has F, A, C, and G has G, B, D. Try those right now. Also, we notice that there is an error in the book, and there is also an A minor chord in this song number 1. to play an A minor chord, you'll play A, C, E with your right hand, A minor, and then just an A note with your left. And that is A minor, along with the C, F, and G chords that you'll be playing in this first song. Okay, now we're going to talk about rhythm pattern 1, and we're going to use several different rhythm patterns over the course of this book. This is the first one. When we do a rhythm pattern, we're going to use a chord in your right hand and just a single note in your left hand. And your left hand will do more things later on, but right now we're just working on rhythm, and we're working on being able to play from a chord chart. And so this is our starting point. So left hand will play only the root note of the chord. So if we're playing a C chord, left hand will play a C. If we're playing an F chord, left hand will play an F. So just like that. So rhythm pattern 1 goes like this. Your hands will come down together, and then right hand will play, and then left hand will play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together, right, left. Together, right, left. And when you feel a little more comfortable, we can speed that up a little bit. Together, right, left. Together, right, left. Now, the next challenge is, once you have that mastered, the next challenge is to move between the chords using that pattern. So for song 1, you're going to do long periods of the same chord. So we have about 4 measures of a C chord, and then we have about 4 measures of an F chord, and then the G chord comes in a little bit later. So let me show you how to move between the chords here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's C chord. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Time for F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. So look at your sheet music to find out how many patterns of each chord you need to play. And each measure is going to be one full pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I mean by a pattern, those 4 counts. Okay, so now that we talked about the rhythm pattern, now what you do is you take that rhythm pattern and you apply that to the lead sheet. The difference between the lead sheet and the chord chart, you have one of each for the song 1 in your songbook. Those two should sound the same when you actually play them. It's just that the chord chart doesn't have quite as much direction in the way of how much time to spend on each chord, but it takes up a smaller amount of space. So get really comfortable playing from the lead sheet and then try to transfer over to the chord chart once you get familiar with it. So once you've done that, once you've applied the rhythm pattern to the chords in the lead sheet, congratulations, you just played your first worship song. So now what we will do from here is talk about how to practice this week. What you'll do is you do song 1 with your rhythm pattern 1, and try to sing along as soon as you can. The whole point here is to learn how to lead worship, how to lead others in worship, how to worship by yourself on the piano. So the sooner you can start singing along, the better off you'll be. If you have a teacher or you have someone with you, or maybe you have a child that's learning this with you, either you sing for them or have someone sing for you if it's a little bit challenging to sing and play at the same time. But the sooner you can get playing and singing together, the better. Also, I would suggest that you play the C scale with your right hand only as you practice this week. The more familiar you can get with the scales, the easier it will be for you to improvise later on. And so we need to be really familiar with the scales. You should be able to play those in your sleep. So practicing probably 10 to 15 minutes 4 or 5 times this week will really help you solidify what we've learned this week so that we can build on it next week and you don't get lost as we learn new material. So thank you so much. I'm excited to see you next week, and please let me know, give me any feedback that you have, ask me questions. I'd love to hear from you. So take care. Thanks.